I want to comment something that Roy of Roy Reads Everything said about Richard III. He said something like, I think it would be a kind of perfect staging of the play to have Johnny Rotten playing Richard about the time of their song Pretty Vacant. Well, as it turns out, the Sex Pistols did do a quite notable performance of Pretty Vacant on the British television show Top of the Pops in 1977. And it has always been my belief that that performance, and specifically Johnny Rotten in his pose of sort of embittered, cynical, illimitable, snarling sneer that is just so perfect for Richard, and this sort of strutting with a sense of insouciance and devil may care, and the song Pretty Vacant with the whole chorus of We Don't Care, probably did have a very direct impact on a staging of Richard III for the BBC.
Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York. And all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Why, I, in this weak piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to spy my shadow in the sun and descant on my own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these farewell-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasures of these days.
Yeah, he is simply after power and after ambition. And he's able to do that because he doesn't simply care.
Johnny Rotten in Top of the Pops and the BBC Shakespeare production are close enough that juxtaposing them, I think, creates a sort of interesting sense of twinship. But my point is this, that every age refashions their Richard, and he always seems somewhat contemporary. When Ian McKellen did his brilliant film version of Richard, we're still reeling from what happened in Italy and Germany and the sort of horror of fascism, and he so beautifully staged it in a 1930s, 40s, the rise of the modern fascistic dictators, and it fit absolutely perfectly.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer. Grim-visaged war has smoothed his wrinkled front. And now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fight the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute.
One of the reasons Shakespeare is Shakespeare, and we keep returning to it, he's always ahead of us. It's not just that Shakespeare is eternally our contemporary because he's involved with the stuff of human being. It's that he anticipates the changes that happen in the future. He's always a little bit ahead of the game.
For the Sex Pistols, their new one is called Pretty Vacant.